welcome to Matrix in a Minute. In today's session, it's going to be going outside of the MLS system a little bit, contrary to the name of the platform. We just wanted to take you into web forms and show you a great new little tool that's available to OmDrive members, AuthentiSign. It's baked right into web forms and it allows you to get your signing done, electronic signing, without having to pay for anything. It is included in your membership. So as I said, it's baked right into web forms. So here on the left, you're going to notice that there is a little pen icon, and this takes you to the AuthentiSign home. Now I'm going to be primarily working through here. If you do have anything related to web forms, be sure to tune in to our web forms webinars, and Kriya is also offering some themselves. So to start assigning, there's a few different ways. I'm going to do it primarily from here though. What I can do is just hit the add button up at the top right and give it a signing name. So this is just what it's going to be named in this list. Let's say, sorry, offer to 123 Street. And I can optionally pull in a transaction. So this is probably where we're going to be, what we're going to be using most. So I'm going to go ahead and select this demo that I've brought in. And what this is going to do is bring in all of those documents in that transaction and just have them already added. It's going to bring over the contacts on who needs to sign. And you'll see in just a second. So I'll go ahead and hit the save button. And here we go. So it brings us to the four-step process, and we're currently in step one. You'll see that we are still in web forms. We still have our icons over here on the left. And the first thing it asks us is participant order, sign in line or sign. Sign in line is essentially that, signer A has to sign first before it sends it to signer B and so forth. So it's basically a ladder. The first person has to sign it in the order that you present it. Sign is anyone who signs it at any time. There is no order. Everyone gets the documentation at the same time, and they could in their own time sign it and make sure that it's all set up. So we have an accept counter offer option here as well. I definitely also recommend that you do go through this and just test it out yourself so that you are a little bit more familiar with it. We have some advanced options which allows this offer to expire. In this case, this offer, so I can set the signing to expire on a certain date. I could set reminders, a whole bunch of content. So we're going to go down to the participant section, and this is where you're adding in who is signing. Because I brought it in from a transaction, it's already brought over the people that I had on this in this document. So I have Eric Rand, our trainer here, as the listing salesperson. I have myself as the cooperating salesperson, and then we just have the brokerage here for Eric. So they're already all added in, and what I could do is just select them. There you go, and I can indicate who they are. So we're going to say I'm a remote signer, Eric's a remote signer, and Acme Realty isn't really, that the brokerage doesn't happen through because they're not a participant. It's not a named participant. So I'm going to go ahead and uncheck them. In this instance, you would probably have, the seller names, whoever needs to be in here. If they were on your documents that you brought in from your transaction, they will all display here. In my example, I only have two people, so I'm going to go ahead and hit add. And there we go. So I have Brian Gaskell as the first signer and Eric Grand as the second signer, and I can move these around. So I can just drag and drop them like so forward, and it just changes the order in which who signs if I'm using that sign in line option from step one. Now in here, even though myself or Brian Gaskell and Eric Grand are already added, I can add additional participants. So I can just select add participants and add new participant. And all I have to do is start typing their name and entering their email address in here. So for example, we could pop in here and then to ongrub.ca. And I could hit the add button or add another if I'm going to be adding in a third person. And there we go. So we see Stephanie has been added as well. I'm going to remove her just because I want to stick to Eric and myself for this session. And then we come down into step 3, which is documents. Now in here, it's asking you, what do you want to bring over from that transaction that I selected earlier? So maybe all of these, I want to include all of these. I can just select them over here and hit add. And there we go. And I can order them the same thing. I can move them around and place them wherever I want to place them. I can also add my own documents. So I can come into add documents and upload a file or demo forms and documents. So this is a big one. You'll notice that when you send something to signing, you can only select all of your forms and send them to signing. So if you have schedules or anything like that that needs additional signing, it doesn't come over here automatically. But if they're in the transaction, you can go to demo forms and documents. You can select this and it's going to show you all of those documents in there. I don't have any, but you'll see that there's a source option right here and it would say documents right next to it. But if it's also not on the transaction, you can just upload a file and put any document in there that you'd like. Finally, we can come down to step 4, and this is the design. So this is ensuring that where things need to be signed is properly added in. Just for as an example, I have selected a listing in here, but you'll see things like buyer initials, buyer initials. If a buyer was added to this transaction, it would automatically be added in where they need to sign. So it is smart like that. Um, but I wanted to show you how you can manually add things just in case. So here's a little example. It has me signature of salesperson, broker, broker record, Brian Gaskell. It's already added me in there because when I was adding contacts, I indicated that I was the buying agent. So we can come through, and if there was something that we needed to add, so let's say there was a signing section that was missing, or even we're going to use these signature, or sorry, initial section as an example. What I could do is up here at the top right, I have Brian Gaskell and Eric Grand. And if I stay on Brian Gaskell and then go to drag and drop, here are some tools that you can use. So if there is a signing section, you just have to drag it to wherever it needs to go. Or if there is an initial right here, there we go. Maybe I want that there. If there needs to be timestamps or anything like that, that could all be added in as well. Now you'll see it's pretty simple. If I wanted, those would all be for Brian Gaskell, but if I wanted it for Eric Grant now, I would just have to select his name, drag and drop, and the same thing, initials here. I could put down EG here. Obviously, I'm putting him in the buyer section just to show you how simple it is to add things in. And same thing with time. Whatever it is that you need, you could completely change where everything is. You would definitely know, where all the signatures are needed and such much better than us. Just because you're probably more familiar with actually hopping in here and doing offers. But yeah, so you could just drag it all around and it's as simple as that. Once you're all done though, all you have to do is hit the next button. And there's two options. So you're at the home stretch now. There's send invitations, which basically just sends it off to that first person saying, hey, you have been requested AuthentiSign and such. The other option is customize the emails, subject and text. So you can just put in for every single contact a custom message saying, hey, this is the offer for, 123 Street. And you could put a little message in there and just kind of help maybe the buyers or sellers or anything like that identify what it is that they need to do. But you don't have to do that. I could just pop off and hit this send invitation right here, and it will go off out to the world. So I'll go ahead and hit that. Now, while I'm in here, what happens now that I've sent that, you'll see if I go back to AuthentiSign here on the left, we have offer to 123 Street. And in Wizard, these do change based on what is going on. So if someone has signed it, this will change to a lightning bolt, and that just indicates that it is currently uh, being looked at and such, and that signing has happened. Someone can decline the signing, and it will have a little circle with a cross through it. So there's a whole bunch of different options that might appear here, and it just lets you know. Obviously, as things happen, you do get emails about everything as well as you go. That's everything here for Matrix in a minute. If you do have any questions regarding AuthentiSign and how to use it, we do have some upcoming webinars, so be sure to access those. And thank you and have a great day.